Right before I took this trip, I had to run some errands, and I got an email notification. It was my OneDrive memories, and I pulled it up. And 6 years ago today, I was at Arches National Park. 6 years ago today, I began life. Single man who at the time was allergic to marriage. I'm going to drop some pictures in. Oh, look at that. You can see my cart in the background. I started my solo hiking trips. I started giving a lot of thought to what do I want to do for myself in life. I started living for me. I had ended a marriage that wasn't working. Kind of a unique situation. Really wasn't her fault. But change had to be made. It took me 2 years to get to the point of making the change. I worked on myself, worked on seeing if I couldn't lead that relationship to change, and I was unsuccessful. Sometimes that's the case. Again, actually nobody's at fault there. If you know my story, you know it goes back to breast cancer, hysterectomies, hormonal issues, and I pretty much swore off that I'd ever consider marriage again. Here I am 6 years later. I feel better than I've ever felt. I'm lighter than I was then. I am stronger at 58 than I was at 52. Think about that. And I'm engaged to be married and happy. And I'm not giving up my freedom. I'm not suddenly worried about anything. I have been intentional in my life. So since that time, I've focused on the 4 core masculine virtues: self-reliance, ownership, okay, and nobody is coming to save you, brotherhood. And I routinely, this week, I've got a retreat with Charlie and Sven. I regularly spend time with other quality men. It is a non-negotiable. And unconditional high regard is the 4th core masculine virtue. And quite honestly, I have practiced my life the last 6 years according to those virtues. It's funny, I have videos where I discuss divorce, and there's a lot of times comments, just don't get married, and I think there's a lot of benefits to marriage. You've got to be smart about it. You've got to lead. It's the problem that happens is nice guys don't lead, and we end up screwing up marriages. Leads to lots of other problems. So I'm here to tell you, especially if you're facing relationship problems, you could end up either getting to a version 2.0, loving, connected, deep, intimate relationship with your partner, which is the ideal, or you'll end up ultimately creating that with somebody else after you create it with yourself. When the negative self-talk stops, when you have unconditional high regard for yourself, when you realize you've got to take ownership of your life and how you're showing up and how you're being and your emotions, and it leads to a pretty amazing life. So it's what we do at Mentoring Men. We help men on this path, especially once they hear, I want a divorce, I need space. They think their life is over. And the funny thing is, it's hard to believe it at that moment, your life's actually just beginning. It just sure as hell doesn't feel like it at that time. So guys, hang in there. Reach out. There'll be contact information below. Also, there's a link to join the community. We've got over 20 group coaching sessions a month. We have free courses. We have meetups that happen every month around the country. We also have retreats that you have access to. So start to prioritize yourself, brother, and have a wonderful weekend.